Halftime in the Motor City, and it's the Pistons with a 72-point half. They lead 72-62. Only one turnover for Detroit in that first half, and it was on their last possession of the half. You very rarely will see a game played in the NBA where you have, one turnover and a half. But it's going to be hard, guys. Ryan, this is going to be very difficult for the Kings to win this game. 3 games in 4 nights, and at the pace that the Pistons are playing, they're pretty much scoring at will. I like the start for the Kings, Ryan and Jerry, but this is going to be a very difficult second half, I'm afraid.
Yeah, you've got DeMar DeRozan cooking and Malik Monk now out for the rest of the game with that calf injury.
Yep.
Jerry, somebody else is going to have a big game.
Yeah, it's one of those things where really the Kings offense has been fine, but defensively, obviously getting scored on too easy. As Grant pointed out, I mean, this is probably a team that's a pretty tired team. And right now, in the second half, you really need to put some pressure on Detroit. And they haven't been able to do that. I mean, as you pointed out, when you get only one turnover, that means you're making it very comfortable.
The King, yeah, they are exactly. And the other issue is the Kings bench, and now without Malik Monk, all right, man, oh man, we talked about the minutes that the starters have played on this road trip. I don't see how the Kings are going to have enough left in the tank to even make this a competitive game. I'm sorry, but I could see them getting blown out in the second half.
Well, one way I think to get them motivated is just, hey, take a look at this shirt here.
I love it. Yeah.
Yes,
now we're talking. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if they saw that, they'd be out there battling like crazy. But,
yeah.
But I one thing I do think they could do, I really think the Kings, they could try to play the big lineup, play a JV and Domas together. I think they could have a real advantage inside if they would do that. And they're so thin otherwise, they may have to try something like that. And, and since defensively, they've not had much success man to man. And, maybe they could go 2 bigs and play more zone. But otherwise, it's going to be tough.
Ryan, one of the most puzzling aspects of this road trip to me has been the reduced role of Valanciunas. I don't understand it. I really don't. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you know what I've kind of boiled it down to, and Jerry, tell me if you're with me here or not. I think Doug's seen the Kings play best with pace, and it's very difficult to play at that high pace, frenetic type of basketball with JV on an extended run. Jared?
Well, I wouldn't disagree. I do think it's one of those things to where you get to a certain stage of the season, and I think they're committed to a style and a rotation. Now, I think going forward, I do think I'm kind of like with Grant there on that he's been too productive and valuable to play such limited minutes. So there's got to be a way of getting him on the floor more.
And as effective as Keon Ellis is in a lot of areas, his offensive deficiency at times can really handcuff this team. And I understand his role, and I get what he is. And you never know from game to game what you're going to get offensively. But it is very difficult to win in the NBA when your point guard does not score, and he only had 2 points in the first half.
Well, they're very fortunate, obviously, with Levine and of course DeRozan has been terrific, and Domas. I mean, so you're getting a lot of production there, but with a thin bench, then that means everybody's got to produce, and that's where it shows up a lot more.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and he's only had 1 shot attempt, to be fair. I mean, DeMar DeRozan's gotten to the line 10 times, and as you guys said, he's shot 11 shots and been very productive with those.
Let's talk about the big picture now. We don't know about Malik Monk and the calf, right? We don't know what the deal is, but you don't have Jake LaRavia. He's been cleared for light workouts, which means he's not really close to coming back. That's what that tells me. You have 3 games left after tonight, which really don't matter. You're going to be in the dance, in the play-in. But boy, oh boy, if you're looking ahead to the following week where you might have to play a game where you're going to need some offense again, and I think it's going to be Dallas with their front line. Boy, as much as Malik Monk's been a seesaw lately, boy, I can't even want to picture this team without Monk going into a big game.
Well, I wouldn't either, and I think really, when you think in terms of the play-in, especially Dallas, Keegan Murray might be the most important guy.
Yeah.
You really need his athleticism and length. So
Yeah.
don't. Hopefully, he'll be back when the team gets back
Soon.
to Sacramento. But they're going to need his length and defensive ability to have any chance in a play-in, I think.
Completely agree. And to your point, Grant, it's the exact position you could not afford to lose. And not even talking about what Malik brings energy wise to this team. And Jerry, I was going to ask you, before we got to Malik, was about Devin Carter. Right? There's a fine line between aggressive and recklessness. How much is he towing that and putting his teammates in difficult positions defensively?
Well, he's going over the edge a little bit too much. And you got to kind of keep in mind, too, he's a rookie, which means he's going to get no breaks. And that's something he's got to learn. It's just one of those things where it's been such a tough year, maybe a wasted rookie year in some ways. But, you got to trot him out there, and you like his aggressiveness. But as you pointed out, I mean, you can't be getting 2 or 3 unnecessary fouls every 5-minute stretch.
All right, 72-62 at the half. I don't like the Kings' fortunes in this second half. I think they're going to have a real issue. I don't expect Detroit to score 70 points again, but I expect them to score 60, and that's certainly going to be enough, in my opinion, to win this game. I think they're going to win this game 132 to 112.
Well, I'm gonna predict Detroit to win too, because every time I predict a team to win, the Kings win. So I'm saying Detroit 126, Kings 118. So that should ensure a Kings victory right there.
Good point. Good point.
My brain's not working math wise, but I'm just gonna say Detroit by 20.
Yeah, that's what I pick. It's going to be a tough second half. Of course, we'll be on after the game. We'll take your phone calls. Let's hope that all three of us are incorrect. We've certainly done that a lot. Let's wrap up this road trip. Let's just talk, first of all, if they lose. To me, this is a bad road trip. When you have Washington and Charlotte on a 6-game trip and you only win 2 games, that's a bad trip. Now, I know that they beat Cleveland, but they lost to Washington. So if they come home with a loss, 2-4, with the 2 worst teams in the Eastern Conference as part of those 6 games, that's a bad road trip, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was hoping for 3-3. And certainly getting Cleveland helped a lot. Obviously, if they could continue, if they get this one, then I'd say, okay, it's a good trip. You're beating 2 good teams at the end of it. But so far, not what you wanted.
Do the 2, let's say the Kings did win this game, do the 2 good wins cancel out what you saw in Washington?
Yes, because it's just one game in the NBA on a schedule. Yes, if you were able to win this game, yeah, it would cancel it out. Absolutely. In my opinion, it would, Jerry.
Oh, absolutely, because I think what it does, I mean, clearly the Washington game was a disaster. But to close it out against 2 good playoff teams, and basically against the Cavaliers, who got the best record in the East. So
right.
Absolutely.
Talking about the Cavaliers, I think they're going to have problems in the playoffs, Jerry. Their best basketball was in the first 2/3 of the season. They are not playing well at all coming down the stretch, and I still think Boston's going to represent the East.
Well, I do too. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think Cleveland is. People starting to figure out Cleveland a little bit, and their guard line is their strength, and I'm not sure how strong that is, because I've not been a fan of Garland's for some time. I think he's actually, in a lot of ways, Cleveland is better with Ty Jerome out there. So a good part of the time. So we'll see. But yeah, I think Boston, until you knock out the champs, you can't be the champs. That's for sure.
That's right.
Seems like Al Horford's been playing since you were coaching, Jerry.
Yeah, he has. He's the same age. We went to college together.
The same age?
Yeah. He can still play, though. I'll say that.
He's going to have his bank account must look good if he's your age and he's still playing in the NBA. Good for him,
Well, I can assure you, his bank account looks better than mine does.
It's all right. You've got a beautiful T-shirt. It's all good.
Well, I do. Yes, sir. Let me show it to you one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at that svelte body. Look at that svelte body
Yeah.
too. You know,
He must work
Al
out.
Horford does. Al Horford doesn't have a body like that. Okay,
No,
let's
no,
also
no,
look.
no. He don't have that 6-pack.
No, he does not have that 6-pack. So the Kings wrap up this trip. They got 24 minutes left. We always talk about the third quarter and particularly the first 5 or 6 minutes. You better fasten your seatbelt for the first 5 or 6 minutes. We're going to find out if the Kings have some resolve on them in this first 5 or 6 minutes. If not, this thing could get ugly.
It could, and like I say, I like the way they finished the finished the half. So
Yeah, they did finish the half well.
They got there's a lot of courage in that bunch, and we'll see. I mean, but it's going to take a small group of players available. They're going to have to all play well, all of them.
If you start the third the way you start the second, this one's done. They started with a turnover right off the bat out of the timeout and a 19-4 run.
Yeah,
they allowed.
And I think the other key, if you're looking at this from Sacramento, boy, if you could get Thompson to pick up that fourth foul early, he was outstanding in the first half. That would be really beneficial for Sacramento.
Yeah, he's like his twin brother. I mean, he's a star in the making. I don't know if he's quite as good as Amon in Houston, but he's awfully good. And
he is good. Yeah, he is good. He was a plus 23 in that first half. All right, Jerry, thank you very much. Enjoy the second half, and to everyone else, enjoy it as well. And we'll be on right after the game on If You Don't Like That. Bye-bye for now.